guys, and welcome to another kit review. Okay, so today, as you can see, we're having a look at a German King Tiger 2. This is a last production, okay, 1/35th scale, and it is by Academy. Right, so the kit number for this one is 13229, and it came out in 2013, and it is supposed to represent one of the last 13 Tiger 2s produced at the Henschel factory in March 1945. So 13 vehicles were completed. One of them at least was in this octopus style camouflage scheme, and if you have a look at the online forums around about the time of the release of this, there's a lot of discussion about whether or not this actually existed, what color it was, and how many other tanks were painted like this. My opinion, 13 last tanks were all painted like this. 7 of them went off to fight in the Battle of Kassel. The other 6 went off to fight in another one. They belonged to 2 different Schwerpanzerabteilungs, 510 and 511, but it was late March 1945. Within just over a month, the war would be over. No one will ever know if this was, what color it was, whether there were more schemes like this, because all of these Tiger 2s were scrapped, completely scrapped, in the 1950s. Anyway, enough of that. Really nice box art. In this kit you do get a commander figure and also 1 soldier figure. Tiger 2, you also get, as far as I know, the Photo-Etch grills for the Tiger. Alright, must be noted that these particular last 13 Tigers were all issued with their transport tracks, not the full width tracks. They weren't going very far, literally went 7-8 kilometers down the road from the Henschel factory. Okay, really not that far. Okay, so that's the box art. Alright, let's have a look at the rest of the box. On the side you will see that these are actual photos of the model completed with the 2 figures. Okay, there is your Photo-Etch grills, etc. Alright, so really nice looking kit. They have muddied it up and they are using a late war scheme of dark yellow and dark green. Okay, internet references for that. On the other side, these are your painting references, which I really love, which most manufacturers would do this and put the painting references on the outside of the box so that you could see whether or not you had these paints before you left the shop. Usual warnings, etc. in 10 different languages, not included, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so that's the box. Oops, sorry. Let's have a look and see what I actually got. Put that aside. Okay, bit of advertising for other Academy kits. They're Tiger 1 early. They're what? It's actually a Jake Panzer 38T. Hetzer is actually a post-war name given to this vehicle. The Germans never called it a Hetzer, okay? And that's one of those little annoying things. It is actually just a Jake Panzer 38T. Okay, these are your 2 color schemes, obviously, for the Tiger 2. And you do get the decals for the circles, okay? This is just your standard ambush pattern camouflage, 3-tone camouflage scheme. This one, it says, was operated by Abteilung 511 at Regenhausen in May 1945. This one does specify up the top here the only King Tiger in very unique octopus scheme. That is debatable. I find it hard to believe, unless this was a tank that they used for a prototype camouflage scheme. I did read somewhere a long time ago that they were talking about introducing this, or may have been going to introduce this in June, July 45, but never did. So perhaps they did paint one of these up to see what it was really looking like, and it was just sitting in the factory and issued to the troops. The crews for these last 13 were actually waiting at the factory for their vehicles to be finished. And on the back you've got your sprue layout, etc. It does have link and length tracks. Okay, so let's have a look. What else we got? Instructions, of course. Again, a repeat of all the different colors you will need. And let's have a look. First bag out, upper hull plus your photo etch, cables, etc. Next one is your wheels, and it does have torsion bars, although it does have link and length. I think if you were careful you could actually almost get the torsion bar suspension to work, so you'd need separate track links for that one. Next bag out is the turret, of course, mantlet, etc., and also the hull sides and fittings like hatches, etc. Next bag out is the lower hull, back, front, so it's all a separate hull. It's not a tub. Alright, so it's a separate hull that you have to put together. Here you've got your commander figure and gun barrel. It does have a fairly comprehensive gun breech system. Okay, so it looks fairly complex, although from what I understand it doesn't have any other interior parts for the turret. And then you've got the rest of your wheels. Okay, and that's the last sprues. Here you have, in a separate bag, these are your decal sheet. These are your spots for the Tiger II, plus also splinter pattern for Army, P pattern for Waffen SS. These are decals for your soldier uniform. Whether you use them or not, it is still a great little bonus. I like that. A couple more bits and pieces. Do it this way, careful how you do it kind of things. A warning. And then your last but least is your tracks. Okay, so as I said, link and length, fairly easy things to put together. Yes, if you want the suspension and stuff to work so that it goes up and down on rough ground for a whatever diorama, you may have to look at getting separate track links. Okay, so in a second we'll have a look at what's actually in the sprues and also the instructions. Okay, so let's have a look at the instructions. Right, so we'll have a look at these first. Alright, so as I said, these are your paint callouts. You have got a GSI Krios, light color, Humbrol, testers, Revell, Vallejo. Okay, so fairly straightforward, usual German colors, internet references, usual read this before you begin, warnings, etc., etc. And let's have a look and see where we go. So first up, we actually start with the turret. It does have some interior parts, okay, so you can have the hatches open if you want to. As I said, it does have a fairly comprehensive breech with the turret machine gun and also the optics, so that's really nice. I like that. Very comprehensive looking gun breech for the 88. And then we continue on fitting it into the front of the turret. Okay, so these are your turret rings, and that's made up of 3 separate parts. So we'll continue on with the turret, hatches, etc., turret ring. Okay, this is your back hatch, and yes, it can be open, although there's not much to see apart from the actual breech loading mechanism of the gun itself. Okay, there are no hatches or anything. Commander's hatch, cupola, and machine gun. Spare track links, so internet references for track links, etc., because I believe that some of these final production Tiger 2s didn't necessarily have the track on the turret, nor did they actually have the attachment points welded on. That's how quickly they were put together by the workers in the Henschel factory. Okay, there's your barrel, okay, and your muzzle going on. It does give you color callouts throughout. You do get periscopes for the driver and the turret, etc, etc. As you can see up here, there's the periscopes for the commander. Here is your painting instructions, etc, for the two figures that you get. Then you do get onto the upper hull and the fittings for all the hooks, etc, tools. Okay, top of the engine bay with all the fittings for the hooks and tools. Alright, so you do actually have a separate engine hatch, although it doesn't have an engine, right? So aftermarket if you want to put an engine in this one. Again, really nice comprehensive hull machine gun, even though you probably won't see it. Alright, so really nice details, but a lot you probably won't see. And then we go on to fixing the cables on. You could go for aftermarkets, but this is much easier way because it does have the barrel cleaning rods in between the cables. And as I said, it does have the torsion bar suspension. Okay, so this is a good representation, the actual torsion bar suspension of a Tiger 2. Alright, really nice. So you could very carefully glue this so that it does actually work like this for rough ground if you're going to show it on a diorama. Okay, the only thing you'd have to change would be the tracks. Alright, so unusual, these are your wheels. Alright, and as you can see, they're actually made up of 6 parts. Alright, so you've got the outers, the rims, the inners, and then that goes together to make one particular wheel. Alright, so that's a lot of detail. Unlike most other manufacturers who just do one wheel, Academy have gone down the road of actually making a very complex wheel and suspension system, which I love this suspension system. Okay, and then you just put the wheels on in order, of course. Be careful of your order. Drive sprockets, idler wheel, link and length tracks go together, so all of a sudden your beautiful wheels you won't see, your beautiful torsion bar suspension you won't see, which is a shame, but at least you'll know it's there. And then you just go on to mounting the top hull. Some careful forging, careful things to look for, lights, etc. going on. And usually the actual back of the tank goes on last with the exhaust, etc. Turret goes on, and there you are, she's complete. 15 steps. So it seems fairly straightforward, fairly easy build. So we'll see how that comes out. And this, of course, we've already seen. This is your color callouts. Okay, it does have things that you need to notice. The pattern does differ under the skirt. Okay, it does say to use the decals for the octopus marks. That's personal preference, depending on how these decals actually come out in reality. Both of these tanks have been used by the 511th Schwerabteilung, Schwerpanzerabteilung. Okay, this one in Germany, as I said, they do note here the only Tiger in a very unique octopus scheme. Okay, the only Tiger photographed in this unique scheme, and this one was in Regenhausen in Germany in May 45 in standard ambush pattern. Okay, so it's your choice how you want to paint this up. It does look like, for me, it's going to be this one just because it is very unusual. And as I said, I'm pretty sure if they made this one, they made others, but we will never know, unfortunately, because like I said, they were all scrapped in the 50s and no one will ever remember or know. Anyway, that's it guys, that's the instructions. In a second we will have a look at the actual sprues. Oh yes, almost forgot. Let's have another look. First off, let's have another look at the decals. Okay, so there you have it. Splinter pattern for the Army and P pattern for the Waffen SS. Now whether you use these for your figures, for your soldier figure or not, this will actually give you a really good idea of what you can use. And these are the octopus circles for the armor. Personally, I would probably try hand painting them rather than use the decals, but because there's a lot on here and each one of those will have to be cut out individually, I think. Not sure how that's going to work. So if you're going to use these, I would try some of them on the bottom of the tank first to see how they come out. Usual tank numbers, and you do have variety, so you can number these. Internet references for these, for especially the octopus tank, is going to be very difficult. I've only actually seen photos of one particular tank, and those photos were taken years. From what I've heard, they were taken probably 7, 8, 9 years after the tank was knocked out. Okay, so take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to the internet. All right, so that's the decals. The other thing that I'm going to show you is the Photo-Etch grills, which are really nicely done. Okay, and they are an Academy PE. They're not an Edward or something like this. All right, Tiger off B, Henschel turret, really nice. Okay, beautiful detail for the aiming sight. Or is that the, actually that could be the headlight, I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up, but that's really fine, really nicely done. So I do like those. Okay, and I'll give you shots of those anyway so you can have a really good look. But okay, next we'll have a look at the sprues. Okay guys. Okay, so let's have a look at the sprues. So first up, let's start at the top, the turret. Okay, so standard Tiger 2 turret. This is your base with some really nice bolt detail on the base here. I do like that. Gun mantlet. I would check my internet references. There is no cast texture on the gun mantlet, so I'd be having a look at that. This is the rear hatch. Comes in 2 parts, okay, with handles, etc. Commander's cupola, whatever you want to call it. Bottom of the turret ring with a really nice cog detail. Okay, really nice. Alright, so there's a lot of detail on this tank which you'll never see, but the fact that they've included it is really good. I do like that. Really nice. Okay, even looking at the handles here, there's not much of attachment to the actual sprue, so it should be easy to get off. Okay, and the detail is nice and crisp. All right, it's beautiful. All right, no flash, no nothing. So that is your turret. Okay. So let's have a look at the next one, which is, in actual fact, the gun, okay, and the figures. All right, so let's have a look at the gun. So as I said, really nice not complex, but detailed breech mechanism for this 88mm. All right, really nicely done. The gun barrel itself is one piece, all right, except for the lower half, which is 2, but at least That's a single piece barrel, right? Accessories, etc. for the tank, really nice, right? Hatches, beautiful commander's ring for his machine gun, and lightly attached to the sprue. I do like that, so it'll be easy to get that one off. That's the attachment for the commander's machine gun. These are his binoculars for the tank, okay, but they're all finally attached to the sprue, so that should be easy to get off. As for the figures, so as you can see, separate torsos. You do get an SGG 44 because it is April 1945. Nice detail on the uniforms. Okay, that is your single soldier. Let's have a look and see if I can get the head for you. Right, there is your commander's head with headphones already on. So that is really nice detail. I do like the figures. Uniform detail is really nice. Overall, it's beautiful actually. Lots of nice details in this tank, and I'm looking forward to actually building it. Okay, so let's have a look at the next sprue, which is, as you can see, the upper hull, hatches. You have here your air vents for the engine deck, tow cables, and tools and accessories. Alright, so let's have a look, see. Really nice, crisp details. Okay, nice bolt details. You do have, I'm not sure if you can see it, weld lines around where the two plates of armor have been sealed together. Most pictures I've seen do not have any kind of flame cut markings or anything like this on the join, on these teeth, so to speak, in the armor, right? Just welding around the edges. So this looks pretty good. Really nice detail on the side. Engine deck is really nice bolt detail. Look at that, that's beautiful and crisp. Okay, let's have a look. So there you have hatches. These are the dry sprocket sections that go on the lower hull. There is your rear engine deck vents, engine deck, hatch, tools, and what I do like the fact is the tools are nice and crisp and they're only lightly joined to the sprue. Okay, there is your tow cable with some really nice cable, bit of mold line cleanup around there, but not too bad. And overall, that's really beautiful actually. That's really well done. So the tools are nice and crisp and everything seems to be minimum flash, and it's attached to the sprues with just a little join, so easy enough to get off. You could of course go for aftermarket cables, but these cables also have the barrel cleaning rod in them, so I can't see the reason why. Okay, so that is the upper hull, and let's move on to the next sprue. Alright, so that's the top of the hull, I should say. And it doesn't have a hull tub. Okay, the hull is all separate parts. You got your sides, alright, you got your side skirts, alright, this is your hull machine gun, alright, these are your air vents and things for the engine deck, towing hooks. So let's have a look. Oops, sorry, I used to look at this one. As I said, this does have a full torsion bar suspension, and the detail on the lower hull is really nice. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how that comes out. But I do like the detail on this. The bolt details, etc., are really crisp, and as yet I have not seen any flash. Okay, some very fine hooks and things for the engine deck, which will take a little bit of care getting them off, but you know what? We're always careful, aren't we, guys? Says here who lost something the other day and I still haven't found it. Okay, so let's have a look at the rest of the lower hull. This is the bottom of the hull. These are all your access hatches, okay, with some really nice detail on them. So literally, when you come to servicing a Tiger II, each one of these hatches allows access to draining the radiators, draining the engine oil, the gearbox oil, etc., etc., changing various parts out. If you drop a tool into the engine bay of a Tiger II, Tiger 1, whatever, good luck getting it back without having to jack the tank up and take one of these access panels off, and that would be a pain in the you-know-what. Alright, so front of the hull. Sorry, yep. And that's the back. Alright, so there's not much detail on the back, it's fairly plain, but there's your machine gun parts. There is no cast detail on the exhaust blocks, so I'd be looking at that as well for my internet references, because I'm pretty sure, like the Tiger 1, there would be cast detail on that. But apart from that, the detail is really nice. Okay, let's have a look at the other side. So yes, unusually, the whole hull, lower hull, is all made up of separate parts like this. Alright, so you will have to be careful when you're putting it together, alright, to make sure it's nice and square and straight. But apart from that, I think it's going to be a fairly simple construction. Okay, so that's your lower hull. So the only thing left to show you is the bits that go around the wheels. So you do get two of these, so I'll put this one aside. And as you can see, dry sprockets, idler, torsion bar suspensions. Alright, and as I said, the wheels are made up of, well, each wheel set is made up of 6 parts. So you do have the rims, okay, which is what these are. Alright, so it's unusual that they've done it that way. I do love this torsion bars though. Okay, the effort that they put in to replicate this system rather than just sticking the outer bits on the hull is really nicely done. Really nicely done bolt detail on the drive sprocket. Okay, so that is the torsion bars, and you do get 2 sprues exactly like that. And then you do get 2 sprues like this one. So put that one aside. And there you have your outer wheels. Okay, so you do have an outer and inner wheel, and there's the detail on it. It's beautiful, nice bolt detail. So these wheels, although they may be a little bit fiddly to put together, are going to give you some really good detail. And I do love the fact that Academy has taken the time to do it, and they've taken the time to actually mold handles and things like that, small bits in quite lightly to the sprue, so it's not going to break when you get it off. Okay, I do love that. That is a really nice bit of work. These are the last sprues. These are your tracks. These are your Lincoln Land tracks. You get 2 sprues of that one. Okay, so let's have a look. See, this is really nice detail and very easily put together. These are your lengths, okay, and your links, plus your spare tracks for the side of the turret. Okay, really nice, sharply done. Let's have a look at the other side. And there you have it. Okay, that's really nicely done. And no flash, minimum flash and minimum cleanup on this. I do like that. Academy has done a really nice job. Okay, Academy is one of these kit manufacturers that is just sitting quietly in the background and just does what it has to do. I really do like that. And that literally brings us to the end of this review. So that is Academy's German King Tiger, last production. Okay, I'll put that one like that. Really nice looking kit, alright. Has a multi-part hull, really nicely detailed gun breech mechanism, machine guns, etc. So it is one of those kits that, you know, if you if you want to have a Tiger 2, I'd be definitely looking at this one. How much did this one cost me? Around about $45. Not that expensive as Tiger 2s go. Alright, it was a bargain when I got it. Really happy to have it, and definitely looking forward to building it. Okay guys, as I said, that brings us to the end of this review. Hope you got something from it. Thank you for your subscriptions and your comments. And as usual, until next time, take it easy, stay safe, stay well, and I will see you later.